Oh, so he's just broken then. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do mean to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact. You know, when NAKABA introduced Invincible, title card, but when he introduced Invincible, Ball into Magic, gosh darn, I've been reading too much Ichi the Witch, Ball into Magic, I was a little intrigued, a little concerned though, because I'm like, NAKABA, you keep introducing these characters with this wide breadth of ability and power and unbelievable, devious, dark, and crazy levels of energy and balance behind them. Aren't you worried about maybe getting a little bit too broken? Like, obviously, Seven Deadly Sins as a duology is a series heavily plagued by power cliffing and power creep. So, obviously, with the many broken abilities NAKABA introduced in the original series, and the many abilities that are broken that he's introduced so far in Four Knights, he's obviously gonna have to make more and more powerful abilities. And I was kind of wondering, like, how's he gonna do that? You know, like the verse is already so strong and already has such a wide diversity of hacks, and is so strong and fast that those hacks seem to get overridden in the general community consensus. But like, how? How is NAKABA just gonna make more broken things? Like, I just have no idea how. Oh, NAKABA had an idea how. I simply did not have the creativity in my heart and soul. NAKABA Suzuki, he had the creativity. Oh, did he have the creativity? So let's not waste any more time. And let's hop right into chapter 182 of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, which is known as A Cruel Death. And oh, it's a cruel death indeed. As we see Turret. I keep getting their names mixed up. Wanted to do that for much longer. As we see Rothus crying over the body of Deodora. We see the marks, and pay attention to the marks left on Deodora's neck, made by Turret's own two hands. And of course, Turret is struggling with this. Sure, he does feel, and did feel, the same way that Turret did. Or I keep calling him Turret. Rothus did feel the same way that Turret felt, that he really deserved to be the son, that Theodor was holding him back, and ultimately this was a chance at freedom. Something better, something greater. They would be better sons, and they would protect Ironside. Don't worry. But I do have a question for both of these idiots. Buckos, pals, amigos, how are you getting out of Onfwin? How are you getting out of you? It's already too, like, legitimately. Like, Rothus, you just strangled your one and only ticket out of here. You're not in the tournament anymore, buddy. You're at least staying here for another year. Another year. And you know what else? You know what else, buddy? Even if you did stay another year, both of you can't leave at the same time. Unless that's, like, maybe you can fold that in. Maybe you can, like, Dragon Ball wish it and, like, do a fancy criteria of the wish that Beltree offers and maybe let both of y'all go. But regardless, one of y'all will be stuck here for another year on top of that. Y'all gonna fight over that? Y'all gonna kill each other over that, too? So y'all just want to kill people. Kill people that you've known for a long time. Like, huh? Like, I don't know. What was their thought process after this? Watch the rest of the tournament tomorrow and then, I don't know, vibe out? It's not like Beltree cares. It's not like they'd automatically be allowed to leave. I bet you can gain faith back in Camelot by living in Onfwin. I bet a bunch of people did, and yet still they're trapped here. So their slaughter of Deodora. This is the start of NAKABA. I should have known by this first panel that NAKABA was going to get real freaky this chapter. But regardless, they're a teeny tiny bit short sighted because they kind of fumbled their only ticket out of here. But don't worry, they didn't really, because there's another ticket waiting for them. Waiting to be punched. As we see Rothus apologize. I'm sorry, Sir Deodora. I can promise you that Turret and I will keep Ironside safe. Same point as before. Like, you're not leaving, you're not getting out of here, you're never beating ball. Like dog, you're cooked. But we see as Rothus cries and turns away, he at least gives Deodora a certain dignity. As he says, please, rest in peace. And you know, the reason this hits so crazy, even though I barely know this character, look at this. He was truly there from the start. Theodor was a baby. He helped raise him. He has so many good memories. And you, like, I get it. You're in an emotionally rough state. You're suffering. You just lost a battle. But you don't think at all. You don't think at Oh. And of course, like, clearly he feels bad about it, but he doesn't even regret it. He's like, don't worry, we'll keep him safe. Please rest in peace. Don't worry, we'll take care. That is crazy. That is crazy. Oh, but Deodora did nothing for him. Deodora did nothing for him. He only was a burden on their life. Not really. When you think about it, not really. Sure, they had to take care of Deodora. Womp womp. You got a house to live under. You got a man who cared about you, trained you, and raised you. And you had food on the table. And clothes on your back. Taking care of your little brother should not have been anywhere near as much as a burden as you allowed it to become. And y'all got a little bit freaky. Ironside never really adopted you. He hired you. It was your job. So, yeah, Rothus and Turret both. They're what we in the business would call monsters. But with that being the case, we see Turret turn away. Or I keep saying Turret! Rothus turn away. And suddenly, jangle. Do I have anything that jangles? I don't have anything that jangles. I don't have any keys near me. But jangle. And as Rothus is walking away, tears streaming down his eyes and a dripping nose, he's shocked. And he turns around, hearing the jangle. And he asks, what? Why? I'm sure that I broke your neck. And we see that there is some lingering remnants. Right here, the indent does get reflected here. But speaking of reflection, as Rothus looks on in a sort of abstract horror and confusion. Huh? Crack! Snap! And pop. The instant he lays eyes upon the man he thought he'd slain, his own neck shatters. And just like that, he's gone. Falls to the ground, lifeless. Now the question is, do I go into how absurd and insane this is now? Or do I wait until Turret shows up? That's a question I have for myself. How do I answer it? We'll do it in stages. I recorded a live reaction to this. It's about 22 minutes long. You can check it out over on Patreon. For as low as $1 a month, you can remember for as low as $3 a month to check out the 22 minute, or like 21. It's in the 20s live reaction. But we'll go in stages, kind of like how I did there, because I was live reacting. But we see, as Turret falls to the ground, a certain juice, a certain light begins to ooze out of him. Bit by bit, piece by piece, it just oozes all out of Turret, whose tongue lays out as his tears dry on his fallen body. So, the initial thing, and that's obvious, Deodora has damage reflection. The highest tier damage, well, maybe not the highest tier. We'll see. That's yet to be proven. We'll have to see whether or not he truly has the highest tier. But he has really high level damage reflection. Why? Because his neck was snapped, and instead of, hold on, I gotta call. Have you drank water today? Have you been hydrated? Stay hydrated, folks. But as we see, he had his neck snapped. He died. Like, verbatim, he did die. And yet he comes back to life. Reminds you of someone. Or doesn't it? Reminds you of someone else. Another character who can literally die by all conventional means. Have their heart pierced. Their neck snapped. Doesn't that seem familiar? A neck snapping, a neck breaking, leading to death? Do you remember Macduff doing that to a certain someone? And then the person simply rising up again. Unharmed, unfazed. Maybe it would be the brother. Or the other that Theodora knows about. But of course, this is an evolution of what Percy himself does. Because while Percy has always risen from death, he's never reflected the damage back. If he did, Ironside would die. No, like remember when Ironside pierced him through the chest? Like, if he had damage reflection, that would appear on Ironside and burst him open. Remember when Macduff snapped Percy's neck? If that was the same case for Percy, if he had the exact same ability, then Macduff's neck would have hit the snapped itself, but it didn't happen. But we see that it doesn't simply stop at damage reflection, as the juice begins to... Ew! I'm sorry, I love the word ooze. I love and hate the word ooze like I love and hate the word moist. But the moist energy oozes right on out of Rothus's lifeless body and flows directly into Deodora with a very particular sound. Okay, that's not how that... I'm not sure. Zern? It slurps right on out of it. And once again, it's a sad twist thing. I like how pathetic, how pathetic and cruel, if you will, Rothus's death looks. Just as Deodora themselves, when they died, didn't get any honor, didn't get any dignity, just drool leaking out of their mouth after they fought for their life as tears roll down their eyes. Look at how pathetic Rothus looks. Not a warrior, not a seasoned battler, no dignity in the death. Just snap of his neck. Lay to the side. Eyes gone, tongue out, drooling as his very life, or possibly something else, is drained away. And we see NAKABA, once again, having heard our many cries of the community, hearing our endless cries, and please, NAKABA, please, confirm that there are stars and moons and everything within Camelot. Confirm that these gods you've created have created entire worlds unto themselves with functioning star systems. And NAKABA said, here, take this sun and curse by light and have enough with it. But that wasn't enough. It was never enough. Take these moons and curse by light, NAKABA said. But it simply wasn't enough. It was never enough. And now NAKABA has decided to bless us, bless me, bless us all, with not just multiple moons rotating around a planet, but a star system. Arthur violates Perfect Cell. Simply because Perfect Cell can't harm him. Look at the raw power. Look at the raw power. But of course, we see as the night goes on, Turret is quite angry, quite annoyed, and begins to bump and thump and whack through a crowd. And he goes, he's late! He's too darn late! How long is that fool Rothus gonna make me wait? That stupid lazy bum! How much time can it take to finish off a half-wit like him? Now, while Rothus at least felt a little bit bad about taking Deodora's life, from Deodora's comments of last chapter of always telling that Rothus did, or always being able to, telling Rothus that you could always tell that Turn didn't really like him, you can clearly tell, man. I have to say flat out, well, you may have been able to make a slight interpretation, maybe that Rothus was a good person deep down who was just put in the wrong circumstances. You can maybe make an argument of that for the main man here, Turret, but I think he's just a bad person. Like, you sent your possible brother, or at least might as well be brother, your fellow war orphan, to go slaughter an innocent man who only cares for you. And he's taken a while. And you thusly decide to insult him, call him a stupid, lazy bum, and then insult the innocent man you sent him to go slay. Like, I feel a mote of sadness for Rothus. A mote, a teeny tiny bit. But man, Turret, let's just say you're gonna get what you deserve, gang. You're gonna get what you deserve. Especially for your short-sightedness, brother. He about to pay it back in full. As we see, that Turret does find Rothus, and finds why he's taking so long. And he says, oh, what? You're sitting there contemplating. I suppose you did the deed, Where's the body? I was afraid you took pity on him at the last minute. And we see, the shoulder gets grabbed, but suddenly, clunk! Rothus is dead. Extra dead. But you know what I like about this? I like we don't see it, but I like the imagery, the perceived imagery of Deodora, this awakened Deodora, knowing that, oh, well, it'd be too obvious if I just left the body laying there. I might as well set a trap. And him picking up, look at this here, him picking up Rothus's body and just putting the slowly rigor mortis induced corpse in a way that faced away from the entrance to bait Turret in. And we see, once again, Turret died a disgraceful, cruel death at his own hands, realistically, as his tongue lolls out and sweat rolls down his face. And Turret Scared little man goes, eep! And we see Deodora appear. Rothus made quite the blunder, didn't he? He'd still be alive now, if he didn't fall for your sweet words. And of course, Turret is shocked and proclaims, Sir Deodora! You did that? That's impossible! Rothus made that face when he died, too. So what now, Turret? Going to try to lay hands on me? Deodora gets all nice and close, gets all up in Turret's face. And Turret, in violent, non-thinking anger, doesn't begin to consider how, on Earth, an impossible task was replicated. How, on Earth, it was able to be completed. How did Deodora, the boy who could barely wield a sword, how did he manage to strangle the life out of Rothus? Someone resistant enough to fight against the throes of purgatory. How could he have done that? Could there have been magic at play? Well, Turret unfortunately doesn't think of that, as he grabs his whip and beats Deodora, whaps him 6 separate times, 6 separate swings of his whip, brutalizing Deodora, giving him many lashes and allowing him to fall to the ground. And of course, once again, with no remorse, no care, no proclamation of, oh, how dare you do this to my long friend or my brother. No, just care for his own freedom. I guess he thinks he'll escape on foot eventually. Farewell, you worthless clod. Not even a guarantee that, oh, I'll take care of Ironside. Nothing, no. It's all his own freedom. That's all Rothus ever. That's all. Why am I messing up their name so much? That's all Turret ever cared about. His own freedom. His own ability to fight in his own way. And get exactly what he wanted. Right? Exactly what he wanted. And of course, we see that it doesn't matter. What did I say? Deodora fell? No, in this case, he didn't even have to fall. The damage reflection kicks in. And that's all at once, too. Notably, it doesn't seem like these slashes appear one by one. No. The very instant the damage stopped, whoop, it appears on Turret, mashing up his face even more. And Turret is the one who falls to the ground with a clunk. I have the knack of it now. I gained the power of divine punishment, the power to protect myself from those who would harm me. A pity it doesn't apply to my clothing. Yes, that's right. This is my magic. I'm sure God himself granted it to me. I was once pitiful, nothing to my name, a poor little kid, betrayed by those he trusted, a sad, sad case, thrown into the sea of despair. Now, obviously, we got damage reflection. Now, in a series full of devious, dangerous, diabolical abilities that also too typically relate to damage taken, or reverting, or inversing, or entirely negating it, it is interesting to see a couple things. First things first, Deodora's magic is entirely defensive. It does not work offensively, seemingly enough. He cannot form it, he cannot formulate it, he must take damage at first. Now, naturally, this does raise a question. What is the threshold for damage, and how much damage can be undone? So far, the damage he's taken, while serious, is relatively small scale in the grand scheme of things. Sure, he had a snapped neck, but, okay. The bones then break, they reconnect, and his neck flushes back out. The indents are undone and reflected upon Rothus. And same case for here. He receives 6 whaps or many more lashes, but they're lashes. Ultimately, they are skin tear damage. Okay, skin closes back up, blood goes back in, fine. And then it all reappears at once on Turret, implying that the damage reflection is entire in one instant. We'll see. Maybe it is more stagnated in the anime. We'll take a look whenever this comes out in like 10 years. But the question is, what is the upper limit? Hypothetically, if one were to remove Deodora's arm, would his arm fly back over and pop back on? And then your arm would fall off? I don't know. Hypothetically, say you were to atomize Deodora. Say you were to hit him with a hollow purple, or a Kamehameha wave, or anything. would it reflect all the same? And would Deodora come back from atomization and you be reduced to atoms? I don't know. And notably, the only person who could really, at current at least, help us find out would be Tristan, who he's not fighting. And I wouldn't even say Percy, really, Gawain, who he's not fighting. He's fighting Gnostians, who has poisons, which they are immune to, meaning the hypothetical damage reflection of a poison effect, unless it reflected simply the physical malfeasance that would appear on Deodora. Likely wouldn't be all to fight against Gnostians. But the physical effects are unclear. We know Gnostians have access to the Spirit Spear now. So what happens if he and slices Theodor in half? Would their body pick back up and seal back together? And then Gnostian's body would fall apart? I don't know. That's the thing about this damage reflection ability. It's very unique, very interesting. Is it as good as Damon's reflection ability from Boruto? No, because all Damon needs is intent and you looking at him and him. Well, then again, it could be better because he doesn't need hand contact, which Damon's apparently needs sometimes. But with that being the case, we see Deodora get excited, euphoric. Consider the power he was blessed with, divine punishment, and the ability to dole it out on all those who would harm him. Now, once again, I know y'all may be like, Ansel, you're way too focused on this stuff. It's just a word, it doesn't matter. Who on Earth, or in Camelot in this case, is the god they keep referring to? God himself. Who? Because it can't be Arthur, can it? Could be, depending on what we find later. Is he meant to be the very god king of this world? Or is it some sort of higher, more ethereal being that they all worship? I don't know. It's very interesting that the word god keeps popping up in comparison to a universe that is already filled with a variety of gods, from the supreme deity to the demon king, to both are dead, the fairy tree, which is now reborn and sealing with Gnostians, and also obviously chaos itself. All these gods. But with that being the case, we see Theodor seems a little teeny tiny bit different, if you will. And there's one other neat aspect of it. As Theodor raised their hand, looking to give Turret the slurp slurp, Turret goes, eep! And Theodor realizes, oh, well, it just came out of... Why am I suddenly eepy? Hold on. One second. I'm gonna do, like, 5 push-ups real quick to get the blood pumping and to get the brain active. Hold on, one second. We're gonna go... It's going down for real. Hold on. Let me see. Do I have push-up room? I should. But take big notice of Deodora's personality change and the general indifference, if not excitement, he has with these abilities that involve with him taking the lives of people he's known and trusted for all of his life who have just betrayed him. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Woo! Alright, and a couple jumping jacks. Woo! 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 Oh, I should have counted these. I don't know how many of these are. Alright. Alright. Woo! Should get the good old blood flowing. Let me see. Let me take a last hit of that agua. Two real quick. One moment. You know what? I'd say I don't know why I'm tired, but my body just woke up super duper early. I don't know why it does that. It doesn't love me, I swear. But all that being the case, hold on. Let me do one other thing. You come to me. Wait. You come to me. All right, good. Whew. Where was I at? Yeah, Deodor's personality shift. It's interesting, and we'll talk about the personality shift and the implications of it in a little bit. As we see, he does realize something. Oh, well, it came out of Rothus just now. Why isn't it coming out of you, huh? Why isn't it oozing out of you? There are so many different jokes that I almost want to believe is intentional by NAKABA. NAKABA, you knew what you were doing, but like you can't deceive me, Suzuki-sensei. I know what you are. All this stuff about things oozing out of men into another man. Him wanting it to come out of them already. NAKABA, I don't trust you. That actually genuinely hurt my pectorals a little bit. Like they are tensed up to the extreme. Chest day was 2 days ago. I did leg day yesterday. Why are you not charging?
Why are you doing this? Please, I need you to charge. Please.
Why are you not charging? I'm so confuzzled and so confused. I need you to charge. Charge. Why are you like this? Why are you like this? Why are you doing this to me? Why are you doing this to me after all I've done for you? Charge. Alright, fine. I have the alternate one. In me pocket. In me pocket. Popping like Polly Pocket. Alright. There's this. I am so sorry. Only on that guy with the pencil. And the thing is, I can't. Do y'all mind where I do my like regular pencil stuff on camera? Would you prefer I just edit all this out? I can definitely edit out sections if it's too wild or too random or too crazy for y'all. But I don't know. I feel like this is just me being honest with y'all, and I do like to stay focused on the chapter the best I can. But sometimes these things happen. So this hopefully will work. Please, 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 please. I need you to be on. And yeah, okay, there we go. All right, we're good. But things oozing out of men. Note how it does not come out of Deodora, or how it does not come out of Turret just yet, for reasons that Deodora very quickly figures out. I've got it! It's because you're still alive, isn't it? He's enjoying himself. He's smiling, he's laughing. He finds pleasure in this new power he's been given, this ability to dole out a righteous judgment, if you will. And we see that he starts hitting some moves. How'd it go? Ah! Wow, nice! Absorbing that taught me the skill. And suddenly, the portal to purgatory opens, vrooming loud and proud in the depths of Onfwin. So, when Deodora went to take a little slurp earlier after his damage reflection kicked in that insta-killed Turret, he absorbed his magical ability. And we'll find out exclusively his magical ability and not actually his life force later on in this chapter. But if you thought the ruler was broken for being able to invert any magic launch of the Demon King, meaning that you cannot harm with offensive attacks, you can only harm with healing. If you thought the Supreme Deity's magic was broken, where she's completely immune to physical attacks. If you thought the Demon King's power was broken, the variation of the ruler that allowed Zeldris to ignore all attacks, meet Deodora's magical ability, Divine Punishment, where it reflects all damage done to Deodora, can bring him back to life if it need be, and then, as long as his opponent, or the person who tried to harm him, dies, he can slurp their soul out. But not their soul, their magical ability. Meaning, very likely, outside of the information that's allowed to him that allows him to access the ability, he has to have no worry of a multi-person issue. For example, in the My Hero Academia universe, there's actually a secret little problem and an issue with All for One, the ability that allows you to take other abilities in that universe. It keeps the people. A copy of their soul exists, the Quirk Vestige. And if the Quirk Vestige are ever woken up, or ever try to rebel, they can actually interfere with the wielder of All for One. But considering it's confirmed that Rothus is dead, and we'll find out later that his spirits were returned to the spirit realm, yeah, we'll talk about that soon too, he gets all the benefits of having Rothus's ability without actually having to deal with Rothus himself. So this is, in fact, crazy. And not only does he get Rothus' ability, he gains the immunity that Rothus had. As we see, the portal opens up above them and begins to boom and expand. Obviously, this is his first time using the power, so the great scale of it is much larger than even what Rothus was using before. And then we see the acid and the darkness and everything leaks out to begin to destroy both of their bodies. As once again, Rothus doesn't have the immunity anymore because he's dead. And we see Turret ask,
why did you open a portal to purgatory? Why can you use Rothus' gatekeeper skill?
oh, you poor fool, Turret. You could have lived a longer, happier life. If only you had known your place. If only you had respected the hierarchy of the world that had been clearly laid out to you. If only you had been grateful to have been taken in by Ironside after the Holy War. If only you had decided to be just a little bit smarter, a little bit more patient instead of letting your emotions overcome you, then Turret, you wouldn't be dying right now. Why did you open a portal to purgatory? So he could take your life. Why? Because he wants your power. Why? Because you tried to kill him. And of course, we see their bodies melt away. Bubble, bubble, gurgle, gurgle. Everything gets destroyed by the purgatory portal and its effects. Nothing comes through, though, very interestingly. Nothing comes through. No animals come through. Same thing happened with Rothus' portal previously. It just released the effects of purgatory. It didn't actually let anything come through. I was hoping to see my glorious legendary use scrum lamps as King Hawk, or Wild, or Mild. That's Mild is also Hawk. But we haven't gotten that yet. So I'm not sure if we're building something slowly but surely with that, but it's interesting. We've gotten a whole portal, and we have yet to see my boys. But with it being the case, we see as his body is reduced to skeleton, ash, and bone, it oozes out. Ooze, 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 ooze. Ah, okay. It comes out after you die. This feels so good. This sensation, like it's filling me up. I'm voice acting to the best of my ability. I'm not adding things. I'm not adding. Look at this. Look at the screen right now. I'm not adding anything. Because, you know, sometimes I do this. Sometimes I like to mess with y'all. Because I know a lot of y'all sometimes just put me on the background. Like, I put other YouTubers on the background. So y'all, so when I be speaking or reading, I like to throw in a little bit of spice here and there. I like to mess with it. I like to get a little fun with it. You make you double take. It's why a lot of y'all have admitted that you cannot watch me in public without headphones. Which I feel so bad about. Because, like, I don't cuss and fuss in my videos. I don't do anything like that. But I do get a little bit freaky. But this is raw NAKABA text. This is just it. I'm not doing nothing extra. Not the fan. I'm voice acting it, and you know I may be putting a little bit too much dramatic on it, like this and sensation, like it's filling me. Like I'm doing that. Like even let me just read it in the most generic monotone voice ever, and tell me that this doesn't sound a little bit freaky. Ooze, 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 ooze. Ah, okay. It comes out after you die. This feels so good. The sensation, like it's filling me up. There's no way to non-freakify that. You can only freakify it more. So I'm going to freakify it more. But look at that. Deodor's clothes get completely destroyed here. I'm risking it. I'm risking the biscuit. This may be the thumbnail. Who knows? I'll see. But like, overall, yeah. Yeah, he's a little bit devious. He can absorb people after slaying them, after they've harmed him, and all their damage goes back to them. Oh, how quaint of an ability, NAKABA. I sure hope this isn't unbelievably broken. I hope so. As we see, the only thing left of the two is Rothus' armor, presumably enchanted to be immune to the effects of purgatory as well, or possibly infused with his own magic after a while. And we see that Theodor says, Rothus, turret, thank you for all of your despair. With your help, I've finally been released from my pain. I'm gang. Released, I mean, I guess in a way, he's been released. He has magical power. He has ability now. But, thank you for all your despair. Huh. And, what is Deodora? Oh, yeah, he's the brother, kind of, sort of, to, Percival. The Hope. I wonder. Despair? Hope? Brothers, battle, evil brother, good brother. Oh, I wonder what's going to happen. But there was a statement I made here in the live reaction that I'm going to hold on making because of this next page. Now, I don't even care about my father. I can live just fine all by myself, after all. So, you may be wondering, Pencil, what are you talking about? In the live reaction, because I was reading page by page, I thought this essentially hard confirmed that Ironside may have fumbled the bag successfully. You ever fall upwards? Yeah, I thought Ironside may have did that. Remember how he was summoning life spirits? Powerful life spirits. All in order to make sure that his son could have a body. Yeah, at first, I kind of thought, oh, he failed at saving his son's life. I thought for a moment, yeah, that Deodora might be dead. Entirely. Like the original soul of Theodor, whatever life spirit inhabited, or whatever soul inhabited the body of Deodora or of Ironside and his wife's child is gone. And that this is a life spirit. Why? Because all of his abilities seem life spirit based. or close enough. Remember I mentioned Percy also has the ability to self-resurrect after taking damage, but doesn't have the damage reflection. Unique. Remember how Percy has the ability to drain people of their life force. It's been a long while. Real long. But if you remember, Despair Percy can make contact with somebody and drain out their life force. But not their magical force. But then again, remember, we haven't actually seen Percy kill somebody. In the entire run of Four Knights of the Apocalypse, we have yet to see Percy actually catch a body. It's funny, right? We're 180, I think this is 182 chapters deep, and we've never seen him catch a body, so who knows? Maybe that is a property that he has access to. If he catches the body, he could absorb the magical force if he's fast enough, just like Deodora can. Once again, so many life spirit analogies, and obviously the whole contrast of hope and despair. And it's clear that in this case, as Percy grows stronger through more people believing in him, more people having their hopes in him, it seems like Deodora, his opposite here, grows on despair. So is he a life spirit? I was wondering, and I was wondering if this was just his innate abilities finally being awakened after, just like Percy, parading around as a human for so long, being forced to reveal his life spirit nature. But this is the interesting thing. I don't even care about my father. What does that remind us of? It reminds us of Ironside, the whole scenario that got them there in the first place. Ironside, and possibly, possibly, Beltreep's daughter, or no, Beltreep himself, who when he was consumed by Chaos Power, and Pelgard was consumed by Chaos Power and forgot about Fiona and Richard. That's what this reminds me of. The infusion of power, completely overriding any care for one's loved ones. However, the main reason why I'm still now leaning more towards life spirit is still because he remembers his father. He still has a knowledge of him, at least from the one case study we've had so far, and that's just Ironside. He completely forgot about Deodora. He didn't even recognize him. Nothing at all. So clearly, if this was truly chaos based, then Theodor wouldn't even remember his dad. That was his only loved one, obviously. So I'm leaning towards Deodora being just a flat-out life spirit. And I think Ironside failed successfully. He got a life spirit into his son's body. It's not the life spirit he wanted. And his son may have been shunted from his own flesh. And may have been dead for 18 years already. Which would be a crazy dark twist. But would once again further reinforce the idea of Deodora and Percy as literal true brothers. Two life spirits sitting on opposite paths. One empowered by despair, one empowered by hope. And speaking of the big person himself, we see, as he's sitting there, he snaps. And notably, if you look at this, he's the only one awake. He's not sleeping at all. Which is, unless this is meant to imply that he, lunged forward out of his sleep. He says, it seems like he may not need to sleep anymore. Once again, more so owing to his current life spirit nature. Have we seen him sleep post-time skip? Well, I remember seeing him sleep pre-time skip. I don't remember if we've seen him sleep post-time skip. Maybe he did in Leona's. But ultimately, everyone else is asleep, and he says, oh no! And Nasians, who was also resting, says, what's the matter? And Percy explains, it's Turret and Rothus. They're dead. And Nasian's like, oh, what happened to them? And Percy flat out admits, I actually don't know. But in just a few minutes, their life spirits were forcibly sent back to the spirit realm. Call me dumb, call me stupid. I'll admit, I forgot. Has this been mentioned? Has the spirit realm, obviously it's been implied. It's been implied for a while, so this is probably just not going to be like, spirit realm, baby. But, and I think it was. I think actually the spirit realm was mentioned before. But once again, I'm going to bring it up again. Who made that? Who made that? Where did that come from? We have creators for almost every single realm. We don't know who made the main universe. We know it's not Chaos. Chaos just made the planet. Then again, there's hot debate about that. But still, we know Chaos didn't make the main universe because he came from the ancient stars to create the sevendeadlysins planet. We know the Demon King created the demon realm. We know the Supreme Deity created the celestial realm. We know the Fairy Tree created the fairy realm. Giants don't have a realm because they suck, I guess. But overall, we know all that. But who created the capital of the dead? Who created Purgatory? And who created the spirit realm? NAKABA, you keep dropping these realms on us, and now I need lore. Because you can't just keep dropping these things on us, NAKABA. You're making me lose my mind. But we see that Percy's actually heavily perplexed, as he says, and yet their magic forces still continue to exist. Meaning, once again, like I mentioned earlier, their life spirits, what fueled them, is gone. But their magical abilities are taken. So Deodora literally just got a flat amp. No having to worry about multiple personality disorder unless that ends up becoming a thing that we'll see in a bit. But, of course, Nasians asks, what do you think that means? And Percival admits, no clue, actually. Which, once again, makes me wonder about the life spirit nature of Percy. Obviously, he's gained more knowledge, skill, power, and control over his life spirit abilities, but does he actually know everything? Is Deodora, even if subconsciously, more knowledgeable and able to do things more different than Percy? Or is Percy, once again, maybe just soft sugarcoating things, maybe lying here? Because, once again, I don't fully trust Percy post-time skip. He's very strange. He's still Percy, the Percy we love and know, but something happened. A lot happened over that 2-year time skip, so I still don't fully trust him. So there's a bunch of stuff up in the air. And we see that Percy gets serious. He locks in and says, but I've got a terribly bad feeling about this. Nasians, you better take all due caution in tomorrow's match. And Nasian says, I will. And so day 2 of the Gladiator Festival begins. NAKABA Suzuki, you devious fiend. You devious fiend, Suzuki Sensei. You devious fiend. I respect the hustle, guys. I respect the hustle. Gang, I love this chapter. Once again, we just getting hit with bangers after banger after banger after banger by NAKABA. I love this chapter for what it does for Deodora, establishing his broken behind ability, what it does to reinforce the dynamic and really set up properly the dynamic between Percy and Deodora as opposites, yet who may be steeped in the same thing. How it kind of implicates Arthur, but may not implicate Arthur. Once again, there's so much complication around that. The mystery, yet the answers we have, all of that is so well done in this chapter. Oh, NAKABA, he's so good! But, of course, if you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave "So It Begins." So it begins in the comment section down below. I'd like to thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that little notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, do want to have a Patreon down below where you support me for as low as $1, get a $1 a month. You get things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks will include the 22-minute live reaction to this very chapter, and variations of all my videos. And if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, do a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. And drop 5 beans for a short video, 20 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our sketch tier members: Greyhound, Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Super Flame Zero, Glacier, XZ, G Prosper, Zeta, and Brandon Payne. Then I'd like to give a little thank you to our line art tier patrons: Sean, Midnight Lord 21, Kevin, Encarnacion, and A+A. And then I'd like to give a huge thank you to our ink tier members: Fine, Austin Wimberly, Euchiha, Yuki Ally, and Carlo Alaimo. Then I'd like to give a gargantuan thank you to our digital art tier members: J Warrior and AZ Void. Then I'd like to give another gargantuan thank you to our colored art tier patron: Waki Minos, and iDemokami. Then I'd like to give a final legendary top of the line thank you to our That Guy with a Pencil tier patron, the glorious king, Calvin Elder.